Are you even woking? Watch these extreme delusional wokies getting owned piece by piece. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe or you are a wokie. Let's go.
I'm the mother to the two girls at Delta Kelly. One of them that was read the books, Call Me Max. My shadow is purple. My shadow is pink. I'm not very happy at this point.
No one is happy at this point. You are going to be shocked after hearing what she says next.
Just a few days ago, my daughter, who was 8 years old when she was in class last year, came up to me and my husband and asked us if we wish that she was a boy. I let her know that we don't care and we love her the way she is. She then says, well, maybe you got my sister's gender wrong. She does play with bugs, so maybe she's a boy. She then says to us, maybe Ariana is a transgender, Mom.
Oh, hell no!
Oh my God, no. Is this for what the school is funded for teaching children? About transgenderism? Age of learning A, B, C, D, D, E? This school is teaching children LGBTQ. At this point, they need to sue this school and should take action against all the teachers supporting this agenda. This is embarrassing.
This is our right as parents. My daughter asked us how we know she's a girl and not a boy and what the differences are. Without going into detail, I think you know where this conversation led us. Every week, the teacher sends home a newsletter, and it's so detailed. It tells us this week we're learning about pollination of flowers. But she forgot to tell us she's also teaching our kids about transgenders and all these things that I would not have opted in for. I teach my girls to be kind to everyone, and we are a family that accepts everyone. But this is not acceptable. We have spent the last few days talking to many parents at Rochester schools, and let me tell you, they are all appalled. If the school wants to brush this off, I will highly suggest to all the parents that we send a message by pulling our children out. We cannot continue any longer like this. Enough is enough. Thank you.
Yes, this is more than enough. Of course, all these parents need to pull out their children from this damn school. We shouldn't tolerate this anymore.
I didn't know that I was gonna be talking to a bunch of illiterate people who don't know how to read. But
you're literally 15. What do you know?
You know how to read.
Are you serious?
Yes, 100%. Name 10 books.
Well, I read Game of Thrones. I'm obsessed with like the Twilight series. Game of Thrones, the series?
What's the book called? It's not called Game of Thrones.
Wait, what book did you just say before that?
That is exactly how you completely destroy a person and take their soul out. The way she said Game of Thrones and the Twilight series like she knew got me, but at least she managed to come up with some TV shows. Of course, we have to appreciate her nerve and confidence to say these bullshits during the live stream broadcast.
Thomas, who, as we just heard, was not just the tallest boy in her college when she was competing as a biological male, but obviously the tallest girl as well. How can any of this be fair?
If you don't want to see trans women competing in women's sports, then you're going to have to allow young children who do not feel, who are experiencing gender dysphoria, to have those drugs when they're younger.
No, not at all.
You are.
In my estimation, you do one of two things. It's very straightforward. Trans women either compete against other trans women in an entirely new category, or they compete against their biological sex, because that is the biology they've been.
That makes some serious sense. Biology is always biology no matter what. How is it actually supposed to work like this? It's not fair at all. If they are doing this, then why are they being categorized after all? All the men and women could have simply say, hey, I'm trans, I can't do this tea anymore.
Women in this country still make 77 cents on the dollar for what men make. So if women don't make less than men?
Actually, if you start looking at the numbers, Rachel, there are lots of reasons for that.
Wait. Well, don't tell me the reasons are. Do women make less than men for doing the same work?
No, because...
Just look at the way she's being sarcastic, not knowing it's coming back to her.
Wow.
Well, for example, men work an average of 44 hours a week. Women work 41 hours a week. Men go into professions like engineering, science, and math that earn more. Women want more flexible
professions. Listen, this is not a math is hard.
No. Yes, it is. I'll share one fact with you. When you look at, for example, single women working in America today between the ages of, I think, 40 and 64, who makes more, men or women, on average? Men make $40,000 a year. Women make $47,000. When you take out the marriage factor, look at some economics. My point here is that we're manufacturing a political crisis.
Now, feminists need to understand and normalize that men are always stronger than them, even if they try hard to make it work. Because it's not gonna work.
I'm a mathematician and a physicist here, so I think I'm pretty, qualified to say that most of what you're saying is based on, old data.
But he doesn't look, though. No offense.
Gender identity disorder, that's the DSM-4, bro. We use the DSM-5 now for psychologists to be able to talk
I literally
about...
cited the DSM-5 in the speech, and it's called gender dysphoria, which is the term that I use throughout the speech, not gender
You
identity
sound like a
disorder,
bozo, bro. And you get no pussy, and you can't even make your wife wet, bro, so what's good?
What the fuck did he just say? Holy shit.
Third gender people, I'm not saying that. Third gender people exist in Native American societies, Western African societies, like Southern Native American societies, like Mexico. So in other places that are not white dominated,
and they
like the United States or Europe. And so you're saying white, so non-white people, I'm a mathematician and a physicist.
Some points here. I guess for this mathematician and physicist guy, they are teaching biology logic in class there.
As a mathematician and a physicist, what in the hell do you know about human biology? If your logic is so flawed, as a mathematician and a physicist, I would suggest that whichever institution gave you an award, revoke it immediately.
This now is the definition of destruction of a man.
Would you rather be stuck in a forest with a man or a bear?
Oh, not this again.
The bear, absolutely.
Why the hell are they doing this shit again?
What do you say?
The bear won't hold me hostage.
What if it's a good guy?
You don't know that.
Well, she needs to engage in something.
What about you? Would you take the man or the bear?
The bear wouldn't do anything for you. Like, there's no conversation. You wouldn't be able to engage in anything. Like, the bear could just leave at any time or kill you.
So why do you think you're selecting the bear over the man?
Because I don't want the man to hold me hostage. I'd rather the bear just maul me.
That is some serious confidence coming out of a woman who doesn't trust a man, not even a little bit. Even though bear would dare to touch her too.
What are your pronouns?
They, them.
Why?
Because I'm non-binary.
What are your pronouns?
She, her.
And why?
I don't know, that's just what they are. What are your pronouns?
Lord or King.
Cool.
What are your pronouns?
They, them.
Why?
Because that's how I identify.
Why?
I don't know, that's just what they are. What are your pronouns?
Lord or King.
Cool.
This is exactly how you embarrass yourself in front of people. The way he said Lord King. Is there any chance that someone is willing to refer to him like that? No, even in his dreams. It's always she, her, or he, him. End of this.
Matter? Yeah. It does?
Yeah. You want me to step on the scale?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you think height matters. So if you could judge based on height, I could judge based on weight.
So you're calling me fat?
We're about to see right now.
No,
Let's see it.
I'm good.
Then just take it back. Say height doesn't matter.
No, because height does matter. I want what I want.
And I want what I want. So if I want a light woman, then I should have a light woman. Then just step on. Don't be a coward. Step on the scale.
I'm not a coward.
Well, you're backing out of it.
You my weight.
Well, that's why we got the scale, so we can tell you your weight.
Damn, if short kings matter, then heavy queens matter. This is what we refer to as gender equality.
As someone that grew up the fat kid and was always the fat kid in the room, it's totally weird to be on social media now and just loving my body the way it is and, just like eating all the good foods that I love while still being...
Body positivity movement. Bro literally made up a badass name for that. It's what it is.
Healthy. I'm exercising.
This video summarizes everything I hate about the body positivity movement. To me, it seems like there is a belief within body positivity that either you are dieting, cutting out your favorite foods, you're unhappy, you're miserable, but you're losing weight and in shape, or you're exactly like this person here, you're happier within yourself, you have a better relationship with food, but you are still very overweight.
Well, she is living a happy life. She is having a good relationship with food. She loves her body. She is accepting the fact that she is fat. But still, she is overweight. While people are always normalizing shitty things and ignoring things that needed to be normalized.
Is it not right to say that you're detransitioning from being transracial, transgender?
I was transgender.
How long were you transgender for?
For a year. Oh, I struggled with my identity my whole life. But my issue is the trans activists that have hijacked the LGBT community and are causing real harm to the LGBT community by pushing gender ideology on children, by forcing women out of women's spaces. That is my issue. I don't have an issue with trans people. I have many trans friends. My issue is with the radical gender ideology.
So do you think there is case for the argument then that this show is premised around this evening, that there is a bit of strain in the community?
There's definitely strain. I mean, look, there are people that say that sexuality and gender identity should not be conflated. And I think the real issue is the more extreme elements of the trans activists that are pushing this agenda, that are pushing for all these things on children, pushing for hormones.
Finally, someone who shares concerns. No hate, no pride. Someone who's willing to talk and listen. Good job.
10-year-old should be able to smoke cigarettes?
No.
Okay. Do you think a 10-year-old should be able to buy a gun?
No.
Okay, why do you say no to all those questions?
Because I don't think a 10-year-old has the maturity or the life experience or the knowledge to make those decisions and use those, especially cigarettes and a gun, to use those in a way that is responsible.
Great, I agree 100%. Last question. Do you think a 10-year-old should be able to determine if they are a boy or a girl?
I think that's a different question. Yes. Yes.
I didn't see it coming. Now she definitely needs to rethink her choices once again. How exactly would a kid be able to determine if he or she is a boy or girl? First of all, the kids need to study biology, lady.
If someone came up to me and said, I hate white people, I hate you because you're white, did I just experience racism from that?
No.
But if I said those exact same words and twisted the skin color, it would be racist.
Absolutely, 100%.
I did not go through that course of
What?
who can be racist towards each other. Interesting,
Right.
but
Probably
I'm
because
good.
you're white, so.
Oh, because I'm white, I didn't go through the racism course.
Probably not.
What the fuck just happened? I guess he is not able to understand the assignment. Bro, that girl is being sarcastic like shit.
Yes or no? Can white people experience racism?
No.
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 No?
No. By definition, no.
What's the definition?
I would have to Google it really quickly, but
Do that for me.
okay. Let me Google it for you. Oh, not me on 5%.
That was so unfortunate. We are so unlucky that his phone died, or else we could have got a new cool damn definition for racism.
Identify as black? No, it's a serious question because you might not identify. Can you please put the mic? Thank you.
What the fuck? What hell of a kind of question is that?
Okay.
When I
Less
walked
than
into
I'm not done with my
the
question.
room,
I
when
am
walked
not
into the
done
room-
with my question.
Now she definitely is a defined racist.
Oh, hey, young lady.
I'm just asking you to listen to me while
And
I ask my
I'm about to answer your first question.
But I didn't finish my question.
Okay. Yeah, I'm black.
Less than 9% of the people in this room are black. I think there are racial inequalities in America, and how do you feel about Trump increasing both economic inequality and discrimination for people of color and LGBTQ people? What about violence against marginalized people in the United States? Can you talk about that?
That question doesn't make sense at all while discussing national security and foreign policy. It's unbelievable that she is mixing these questions based on skin color.
And indigenous communities have used two-spirit personas for the entirety of their culture, and so that leads me to my question. When you say that transgenderism must be eradicated from public life entirely, I ask you, Mr. Knowles, how can we eradicate something that has been here as long as humans have?
Well, yeah, there have been all sorts of crazy, terrible ideas for a very long time, too. You're pointing to civilizations that committed human sacrifice, okay? You're saying that some ancient pagan tribe worshipped demons and therefore we need to castrate children. That's not a good argument. Yes, that's true. There were all sorts of terrible tribes. In fact, as recently as a little over 500 years ago, the Aztecs here in the Western Hemisphere slaughtered 80,000 people in a sacrifice to one of the demons that they worshipped within the span of 4 days.
I see it coming from a mile away. Good job, Mr. Knowles. People need to accept the fact and then challenge what is wrong. This girl is not getting it. It's mindset that needs to be changed.
Indigenous intuition of some modern transsexual living in New York City who's a man who very much desires to be a woman. That is a complete fiction. You will not find that in literature dating very far back.
No way it's all the same. But she is trying so hard to make transgenderism and ancient civilization equal. It's not going to work in that way no matter how hard she tries to make it work.
To expand hiring, they're aiming to have 30% women recruits by 2030.
Now, something that's not going to happen in this lifetime. Female Secret Service agents are called dumb and useless for a reason, and then how are they going to increase their percentage? They are proving I'm useless again and again.
Western values are superior. Of course they are.
Well, what are Western values?
That's my problem. What do you consider Western values? Free speech, separation of powers, consent to the governed, constitutional government, independent judiciary.
Okay, why don't we talk about the prison industrial complex?
Why do people go to prison?
For breaking the law?
There you go. So if there's too many people in prison, they commit too many crimes. There's other factors that play into crime, fatherlessness and other things.
And why does that occur?
Why is there fatherlessness? Because we subsidize single motherhood in our country, and we have since the 1960s. So let me ask you a question. So if people decide to do drugs, whose fault is that?
Our decisions are always rested when the material
let's play
conditions
this
that
out.
we're living in.
If was right here and I took it. Is it the person who dropped it there or my fault if I took it?
I think the question of fault
Wrong.
is a wrong
My
one.
fault. It's my fault if I take it. See, I believe that people are responsible for their own decisions, not society.
This is not fatherlessness. This is fatherless behavior. These woke people always want to blame everything on everyone. Why don't they take responsibility for their actions? When Charlie Kirk asks whose fault it is, some guy answered, both. Bullshit.
I'm preaching Jesus.
That's probably not the best place to do that.
I'm sorry?
Probably not the best place to do that at, you know?
I feel it's the best place. There's a lot of lost souls here.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes, sir.
When you're on public property, you're well within your right to do so.
Yes, sir.
Just watch yourself, you know, be careful, okay?
Thank you.
All right, have a good one.
At least that officer had some concern for this guy preaching God in a public bar. Anyway, he got a very good taste of a place to preach the God.
Give me my money. Give me my money.
And this trend. Is this a joke? Making fun of people and kids? Look at their faces. These people are ready to do everything for fame and money. So in this trend, people clap every time, and when it's the victim's turn, they won't. Making them feel dumb and blackout.
Give me my money. Hello, darkness. Give me money. Come on.
If you haven't seen this trend before, God bless you, my child. You are on the right path. Look at her desperation. We need to take down these trends, but as you can see, that's not going to happen. Now we need to make people stop normalizing shit.